What is up? Fuck, I need to fix my mic. What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I want to react to some of the dumbest TikToks on the planet. So this is a compilation that I found by the channel called Clownfish. So if you want more of that, you can check them out in the link in the description. But without further ado, let's begin.
Hi Kaye, thanks for asking. So polygender literally just means multiple genders or many genders. We live in a world where mainstream society has decided and agreed that there are two genders, and we call them male and female, or masculine and feminine, and they correspond with genitalia.
You may identify with more male characteristics or female characteristics at times. You may want to play with a Barbie dollhouse, but you're still a boy. You may want to do some feminine things. You may want to act like a girl, but that doesn't change the fact that you're a man. And the stuff like polygender just does not make sense, because why should you just change your gender every day you want to do something feminine or masculine? So let's say today I want to do something feminine, and the other day I'm going to do something masculine. Does that mean that my gender changes every day? It doesn't. You still have the same genitals, you still have the same chromosomes, you still have the same genetics, the same basis of the world.
So my gender is this, what you see right now before you, and my gender is this. First thing when I wake up in the morning, my gender usually looks something like this. But by the time I finish getting ready, my gender might fall somewhere in this vicinity. For me, it's more about listening to how my body and my consciousness want to present in the world, rather than letting the world tell me how to present based on what's going on in my pants.
So he has 4 different genders. He identifies as 4 different things. You have a woman, a man, a slightly less masculine man, and a slightly more masculine man. This does not make sense. Society is actually retarded. Why can't we just do the normal things?
If you are a transgender minor living in the state of Texas, listen. Right when you think Greg Abbott could not possibly get any worse after he abandoned all of Texas to freeze last year, he does. As of today, Greg Abbott has ordered that CPS or Child Protective Services now investigate every family of a transgender child for child abuse.
That's amazing, dude, because transitioning your kid is child abuse. Why am I not allowed to drink alcohol right now? Why am I not allowed to drive a car? I will be allowed to when my age comes for that, but that still means that I'm not old enough for it. There's a reason laws are in place like that. There's a reason why I'm not allowed to take a swig of beer right now. It's because I'm not old enough for that. Chopping off your genitals is worse than drinking alcohol, isn't it? Because alcohol may detriment your growth spurt or do something like that. When you chop off your genitals, you get rid of stuff like testosterone, sperm, and for females, you might get rid of stuff like eggs.
Republicans would rather watch transgender children K-word themselves than give them access to transitioning healthcare. With last year's freeze lifting COVID restrictions, and now this, Greg Abbott is responsible for the deaths of thousands of Texans. So fuck you, Greg Abbott.
When you are at such a young age, because most people who transition are usually between 14 and 16 when you're talking about minors, people like that aren't supposed to be thinking about suicide. Because if you look at this image right here, this is from CNN, and it's data from the Centers for Disease Control Prevention, the CDC. This is people between 11 and 12 killing themselves. When you're 11 and 12, you're learning about like basic multiplication in school. You shouldn't be knowing about how to kill yourself. And the media is doing this to people because you're teaching about kids about this stuff way too early. Teaching them, I can just grab a knife in my kitchen and end it all right now. If you are a parent with kids trying to transition and they kill themselves, it's your fault directly because you didn't handle the situation. And the video over here is blaming the government for that. The government is not at fault. The government is trying to stop abuse, because chopping off your genitals is also a form of harm. And it does not make sense when people bring up the suicide statistics, because there is no statistics. I've googled it numerous times and I only get blatant numbers that there's no sources for. 2 out of 3 trans people have attempted suicide. From where? What's the source? There is no source. Just go to the next TikTok. What the fuck is this? Obese man?
Well, this is lovely. I had a neighbor confront me for using the women's restroom. I lived here for 4.5 years. Everyone should know that I'm a trans woman. I've always been known as Kaye. I've always used she, her pronouns. I've been having some stomach issues because of Trulicity, and I had to use the bathroom real quick, and they're single-use bathrooms, and it's the only place that I feel safe using the women's bathroom.
Just because you lived here for 4.5 years doesn't mean that everyone's supposed to know your gender and your identity. You look like a man, so people are going to think you are a man. And if they're scared that you're in their restroom, then it's not their fault. And you should be using the male restroom to pee in like a urinal. What's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. You're just going to go do your business and leave. This is not some big revelation that you can just pee in the male restroom instead of the women's restroom. And women are scared because of this, because there have been people in the past pretend to be trans and then rape women in the restroom.
Exactly what she was talking about, because there's a big old woman sign. And I'm like, is there a problem? She's like, yeah, you're using the woman's restroom. You're a man. And I said, I'm a trans woman. She's like, no, you're a man.
You don't care about the women who are scared. You don't care about their opinion just because they don't know you're trans. And shit, they didn't know I always use she, her pronouns. What am I gonna do?
Guys, let's talk sexuality, specifically asexual, demisexual, and cupiosexual. Asexual people don't experience sexual attraction. Some ace people are touched sex repulse, while others just don't experience or understand. Hope I could help. Check out my hashtag Vampire Kid Explains for more.
Vampire Kid Explains. Shout out to you for teaching me about the most retarded shit ever. Let's say that you don't want to date people, you don't have sexual attraction, that you just aren't sexually attracted. Just live alone for the rest of your life. We don't need to give yourself these crazy, like, identities, you know? People are just collecting identities at this point. Like, this is all just for Twitter bios. I don't care if you don't want to do shit in the sheets, or if you're scared of women on the streets. I don't care. Just don't make it my problem.
I describe myself as agender because internally, when I think of me, I don't associate me with any gender. And not in a way that's like, I can go any way, I'm cool with all pronouns. I am specifically no thank you to gender. A lot of people would say, but you look so femme! I know! It's useful sometimes.
I'm just confused by this video. So, you don't believe you're any gender? I thought that you look feminine. I thought that you have female genetics. You know, by the hair, by the overall presentation. You look very feminine. And you do say that in your video. So that I think you know that you're a woman. So why not just say you're a woman? You have no gender apparently. So what are you? Are you genderless? What is it like to be without gender? That's one of the weirdest questions I have, but there's men, females, and what else? If you have no gender, what are you then? Just a human? Just a homo sapien? What are you?
These are lion on long legs. My pronouns are they, fair, fairs, it, and they, them is just fine. And my drag character is a drag thing that can be anything in the world. Today I'm space, a lot of times I'm a notebook or a car, all sorts of wonderful things. Today,
anything in the world, you know? My drag character is fucking Godzilla. My drag character is Iron Man with an iron penis. You know how he has the repulsor on his chest? My drag character has a repulsor in his... You know, when I'm having sex, I use my Iron Man repulsor. That's my drag character. So what's the point of me saying that? Because this is all because you can be anything you want now. The society is so dumb now that you can identify as anything and people will believe it. If I make my pronouns right now, he, she, was, they, them, it, them, dim, jim, chim, that's now my pronouns and someone's actually gonna call me by all of those in a sentence. How do you even do grammar in that sense? Because usually pronouns are used so you can identify characters in a story, right? If you have two characters in a story, for example, you have a he and you have a she, you have Elizabeth and you have Max. How do you know who's Elizabeth and how do you know who's Max? Instead of repeating their name overall a few times in the story, you say she was angry, but he was smiling. Now you know that Max was smiling and Elizabeth was angry, right? Because you can associate the names with the pronouns. But when you have 20 different pronouns, how do you know who you associate with what? You don't. Because of that, I need to repeat your name in a conversation just so I know who I'm talking to. Thank you all for the recent support on the last video. I'm really thankful for that. And thank you all for watching this video. If you want to see more content from me, remember to like and subscribe. Also, check out the source for this original video that gathered all the TikToks. I will link them in the description. And also, I'm assuming this person also gathered these TikToks from Libs of TikTok, the Twitter account, or X account, so you can check them out as well. You can check both of those people out in the link. That's it. Thank you for watching. I love to see the support in the comments and the subscriber count go up and the likes on the videos. It's really making me happy to see that more people are actually based in this world and that we're all waking up to this horrible society that we're in. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everyone.